This is part 4 for converting your battle for Skull Pass Dwarfs into Chaos Dwarfs. In the previous step, we added his beard and his mask, and in this final step, we're going to touch up the rest of the mask by adding a bib and some straps on the helmet. As well, we're going to add some arms and his weaponry. So, as you know, last time we did the beard, and at the very top of the beard, we're going to put a metal sort of plated bib, just like sort of the armor looks like, just like the Hell Cannon crewman. So to do that, we're just going to need a very small amount of green stuff, and we're just going to sort of shape it into more or less a rectangle, which will be more like an oval really, but as much rectangular as you can get it in your fingers. And then you're going to want to place it just below the mask, covering part of the beard. Once you do that, you want to use your sculpting tool with some water on it and just sort of blend it into there. So once we've got the basic shape on there, we're going to want to add the same sort of design as the armor. So you're going to want to press the flat side of the sculpting tool into the bib to create that sort of stepped look that we went for with the armor. So once you've got the stepped look in there, we're going to add the rows of the squares, basically, just like we added the armor. So just straight up and down, making sure to make them square. And on the top layer, we want to do it with that brick pattern, sort of one line on top of the other blanks. So once we've got that, we've pretty much finished the sort of bib look. If you want to add some green stuff to the other side where the shield is to sort of fill it out if your mask hasn't, that's a good idea. And on the top of the helmet, we're going to add a little strap. So this is a very, very thin roll of green stuff, and we're just going to place it on his head. Okay, so we'll place it on his head. And use the sculpting tool to sort of fit it in. You gotta watch with water. If you use too much, it won't let it stick to the plastic. So once you've got the strap and you've got the bib, you've pretty much finished the beard portion. And now really all that's left is to add some arms and some weaponry. So I usually use bare arms from the Marauder box set. So for the easiest part behind the shield, you just want to take sort of a left arm here and cut off just sort of the uppermost shoulder muscle there, so that you have this piece here, and then you simply want to glue that right into the crevice between his arm and his arm socket and his shield. So now we've got his arm holding the shield there. And for the other arm, generally people think the arms are too long, so you sort of want to shorten them at the wrists. The arms that hold the hand weapons are pretty good because they're not that long. and I like to use axes on all my Chaos Dwarfs. So to match with the size of the dwarf, you sort of want to make the shaft of the weapon a little smaller. So I like to cut it down to where the second bolt is. Try and cut it straight as you can. So I cut it straight. And then I want to glue the axe head to the top. I do this for the actual axes as well. I'll cut out a piece of them and then I'll re-glue the axe head back on. The one I used here was from a flail. So weapons can be pretty tricky if you're trying to align them correctly. So once you've glued that, maybe let it dry for a couple seconds. Then you want to glue it to the wrist, if it's not already attached by his hand. So just a small amount of glue will do. You can tell once you've glued it, it looks a lot more dwarfy proportions by having the axe a little smaller. And then all that's left to do is to glue it on the arm. Give it a few seconds there for the glue to work. I'm using plastic glue, so it takes a little longer to dry than super glue, but it'll bond it a lot better. So once you've let it dry for long enough, we're just going to pop it right on there. Making sure to align it nice. Now you can pretty much position it any way you want, up or down. And I go with this guy a little up so you can see his face better. Once you've gotten to this stage, you can do whatever you want. You can add an icon to the shield. You can add a shoulder pad to his shoulders. You can do pretty much whatever design you want. But that's basically the whole thing. Once you've got it to this point, you're pretty much done. You can add whatever you want, that's up to you. I'll try and show you all the angles here of our finished product. And that's all there is to making a Chaos Dwarf. Another addition you could do is you could add the spikes or the little skulls to the bottom of the beard. And this design that I've been working on here is part of a unit of 25 miniatures that I've been working on. You can tell a lot of these are primed. I've also done the command, which is really up to you the way you want to do the command. Once you've done about 5 or 10 of the other dwarfs, you'll be a little more confident in your abilities, and you can sort of individualize the way you do your command crew. You can see some of the other details I've added to this guy, for example. I've added a shoulder pad, and instead of on the back I've done braided hair, and I've also added this beard, or not beard, pardon me, this cape. The cape is from the from the Marauder sprue that usually goes on the shoulder pad. And the way I've painted it, I've painted them as being bald, sort of like the Hellcannon crew. So that's what a painted example looks like. So now you've got your complete Chaos Dwarfs, cheaply converted using the Battle for Skull Pass kit and select portions of the Marauder sprue or whatever other sprue you want to use for arms and weaponry, and any kind of masks you want. And that's really all there is to converting a Chaos Dwarf.